Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, today's conversation, I think you'll find, is a really, really good one, especially if you're building or growing a private practice and just finding that the real challenges in that process don't always revolve around clinical knowledge. Oftentimes, they are internal challenges. So, today, we are going to be talking about the real secret to private practice success. And just FYI, it's not another marketing tactic or a plug and play system. It's actually mindset, grit, and adaptability. So that's what we're going to hone in on. And I'm so delighted to be joined by Ashley Oswald, who is the founder of the Oswald Digestive Clinic. And Ashley started her clinic back in 2016. So it's been 10 years. And so over the past decade, she has navigated the highs, the pivots, the hard seasons, as well as the growth that comes with staying the course in private practice. So I think we're going to learn a lot from this conversation. So, bottom line is this: if you've ever questioned yourself, wondered if you're doing it quote unquote right, or felt the pressure to follow someone else's blueprint, I think you're going to get a ton of value from this conversation. So, let's go ahead and jump in. Welcome, Ashley. So happy to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great seeing you.
You too.
All right, so let's go back in time, shall we? 2016. So you've been at this for a decade. In fact, I think you shared
Yeah.
with me that you just had your 10-year anniversary. So congrats.
Yes, thank you. A couple weeks ago. And Leslie, actually, I started trying to be in private practice in 2012. So even 4 years prior to that, and had some pivots, took some jobs to have more consistent finances, which I hear from other dietitians too. But right, I kept going. And in 2016, it finally stuck for 10 years now.
Awesome. I'm very excited to hear more about the journey. All right, so you started in 2016. Obviously, that was 10 years ago now. Thinking back, what did you imagine your path would look like? Do you remember?
I do remember because I was working in a functional medicine clinic in California, and the doctors there, really well-respected MDs, told me that I was the best dietitian they ever met and had, and we were doing so well with clients together between them and the work I was doing as a dietitian. I was always really well respected in the field, and so I thought, I'm going to just open my doors. And of course, so many clients could benefit. So they'll just flood in and we'll
Yep.
be, it'll take off, no problem. I didn't know much about marketing at the time. It was just word of mouth. And the reality is, that happened to an extent, right? Clients found me, doctors referred, but I was still working a lot of contract work on the side while I figured out how to actually do a private practice.
Okay. So I love what you said. Like, you have good relationships with people, had garnered a lot of respect in the industry. And I think many of us kind of we make that assumption, right? Like, hang out my shingle and they will come, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
sometimes I actually hear of people like really getting scared and nervous, like, oh, I'm not ready to start because what if I, am overwhelmed and too busy right out of the gate?
Right,
I would
right.
just say if that is you, that is a really good problem to have. And
Totally.
and I will just say to ease your mind, there is this thing called a wait list. So don't let
Totally.
that hold you back, right? And the other thing is, again, it's a good problem to have, but it's probably not super likely to be like so
Right.
busy that you're insane immediately, right? Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, unless they've built up an audience already
Yeah,
on some social
true,
media platform, which is great, right? And then you hang the shingle and you already have a big audience that feels a strong connection with you.
true.
But for most people I talk to, most dietitians in private practice, it doesn't happen that way. It's a navigating and figuring out how do I want to market? What avenue? What do I enjoy doing? I'm getting burnt out doing Instagram. So, what else? What's the other option? Or is this my destiny? Maybe I don't even want to be in private practice because I don't like Instagram, right? You've probably heard all this with the work you do, huh, Leslie?
Oh, all the time. Absolutely. Yeah, super common. So, thinking back, what was the reality then? So, people were not, knocking down the door to get in. What did happen for you?
It was a trickle. So, I would get a client here and there. I was always really excited. And
Mhm.
in hindsight, it's almost good that it happened that way because it allowed me space and time to create the systems that worked, to develop myself and my own business. So I was going through IFNA too, finishing my schooling in IFNA. So I was halfway through. So still on that learning curve of functional medicine as well. And the clients that did find me, they were pretty complicated because I was a cash pay dietitian. And so it was almost a benefit that I was working at the hospital, a job that was pretty easy for me at that point because I'd worked at the hospital for many years already. And then I was starting to get contacted by some other clinics and doing contract work that way. So it's still under my own private practice, but you are working for somebody. So it was a pediatric clinic, was one of them, which is super valuable because then I got the experience of learning how
Oh,
to work
good.
with peds under an MD that's a functionally
Ooh,
trained pediatrician, which is really rare.
so rare. What a
Right.
great experience.
Right. Right. And then some doctors from New York City also reached out to me from Cornell, and they were creating a program for metabolic health, and they wanted my help developing this program. So, all to say, it didn't happen the way I expected at the very beginning, where I just hang the shingles, get a bunch of clients. But it happened in a way that was still really valuable and interesting for me to even gain more experiences and more enjoyment getting to collaborate with other providers under my own private practice. And I just wonder if maybe some dietitians thinking of going into private practice aren't necessarily considering those avenues. So I just say that it could be an also enjoyable avenue while you figure out what works for you for marketing for everything to get those one-on-one clients.
So, when were you a consultant then for these practices?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you tell us like how that arrangement looked? Like, did you pay them rent? Were you an employee or you weren't an employee?
Not an
So you
employee, but a
okay,
1099. So it was just a
okay,
contract with a certain hourly fee and rate.
okay,
And I could still create my own schedule, book clients in where I wanted. There was
okay,
sometimes project work related to it, but
okay,
I could always say how much work I wanted, how little work I wanted.
okay. That's great. And could you bring clients in from the outside into that space? Or did you
Yes, but I
ever
was
tempt?
also doing my own business still. So the clients that
Okay.
found me, I was still accepting them through my private practice directly. And I actually started out doing home visits. So I never paid rent because I would do a home visit with new clients and then follow-ups on video, HIPAA
Hmm.
secure video. And I wasn't taking insurance. So that worked for cash pay. And then, kind of a blessing in disguise with COVID, the insurance companies started covering telemedicine, as we know. And so that's when I went through the journey with Amy, blanking on her last name.
Oh, to learn insurance. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And she was so helpful. And now I find that really valuable. And it's really helping us grow, being able to accept some insurance
Okay,
plans.
so now you do take some plans, some
We
insurance plans.
do.
Okay.
Yes, we have a few, and Blue Cross Blue Shield has been the easiest to work with.
Okay.
I'd say a lot of our clients have that one.
Mhm.
And I think it helps with our credibility too, with getting referrals from other doctors and clinics.
Interesting. So, how does that work? Can you go into more detail around the how your clinic is set up? In terms of like how many people and do you still see patients? And I know you work remotely,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, so like, how does that work? I guess with licensure. I guess I'm asking a lot of questions in one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah. We
about
still have license in our states.
okay.
And
You
I
guys have
stopped
your
doing so
license.
much client care just because I don't have the energy and bandwidth and time
Sure.
alongside everything else because I have been getting back into YouTube, figuring out how to get that to work, managing other things for the clinic. And we have a contract I can talk about too with direct to employer sponsored insurance plans, which is a whole nother thing. And
Yeah.
so I guess this is a message, and I'll get to the question too, but it's kind of a message also of the way I envisioned it when I started is really not how it is now. I thought I would just be doing client care, I'd get my full schedule, I'd be satisfied, that's my life, right? And then things change, energies change, where I start to feel like, wait a second, I don't actually love doing client care all the time. I like doing these other things too. I could hire people to help out who are really passionate about client care. So it's kind of it's nice to go in with an open mind also and trust when those feelings shift and trust your intuition would be my advice to dietitians in private practice and being open-minded that it might take a direction you didn't originally think, but it could be like even better than what you thought.
I love that. Yeah. Could be better than what you thought. That's amazing.
Right, right. And I think there can be a certain, I mean, have you ever had in your life, Leslie, where synchronicities happen? And you're just like, wow, I met this person, it played out, and it's just, and it comes out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. And they always say there's no such thing as coincidences, right?
Yeah, I believe that
I believe
too.
that too. I heard that this weekend. I was sharing with you that I was at a retreat and someone said that and I was like, "Oh yeah, that, that really resonated for me personally."
Right, right. Me too. And so something that happened in my clinic, I already mentioned the pediatric clinic, the
Yeah.
New York doctors, that was all great. Then when COVID happened, I met a guy at WeWork who was doing
Okay.
some work in the insurance industry. And long story short, pulled our clinic into this opportunity where we get to also support supplemental insurance plans directly with employers. So that was is a part of our clinic as well. And it's that alongside clients come in directly has been allowing me to now grow the clinic. And that's really where I'm at this year. I'm back into running the entire clinic, and I have our clinicians as contractors and just really looking to expand and help as many people with gut health as possible because we specialize in it. So it's a really valuable offering with how many people are struggling in mostly the Midwestern states where we're licensed.
Okay. And how many people do you have working for you in the clinic?
Right now there is six. There's
Okay.
seven total.
And are they all dietitians?
They are mostly all dietitians and one licensed nutritionist. So
Okay.
you go through the masters, do all the hours,
Yeah.
still get licensed in the state.
Okay, gotcha. So that's really interesting. And so you take a handful of insurance plans plus this opportunity that you develop through the guy with WeWork, I think you said. Is that correct?
Yeah, just randomly
That's
met,
wild.
just like the pediatrician, just like the New York doctors. So it's this mindset of just being open to where the journey could take you and being okay with pivoting as well, right? Because
Okay.
at one point I had hired a marketing coach and I got into Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn
Yeah.
and really came to the realization that I didn't actually enjoy doing those platforms for myself, for my personality. And
Okay.
that's when I started to do YouTube. And even though it didn't take off for us right away, it still isn't growing in the way I would like it to. I'm still figuring it out, but that's kind of great to be able to say it despite starting it in 2019 because I still enjoy it. And to me, that's the most important. Like, I love the energy, I love the platform, I love the other people on it. It's free education for the world, basically. And we do get clients from it. Just last week, somebody came into our clinics. They found us on YouTube.
Perfect. I have to say that I am a huge YouTube fan, and personally putting many more eggs in the YouTube basket. And I don't have the,
Yes.
like, I mean, we have a ways to go in terms of growth.
Hmm.
But I do really like the strategy, and especially with SEO changing so much, right? It's
Hmm.
really pretty different now, if we're being honest. I just feel
Yeah.
like, YouTube being a search engine, there's a lot of opportunity. So definitely something that I think could be quite helpful to our audience here.
Yeah, I think so too. And so what's been your experience so far on YouTube?
Good. I mean, it's not, I mean, it's good. It's good. We have kind of a process that is pretty well established now. I think the big thing when people first start is the workflow, getting clear on your workflow. Like,
True.
what is this going to look like? I would just say, in my personal experience, batch recording is the way to go. In my, I like to get like, you know, if I can, now I can't always do it, but like if I can, hammer out 6 videos at a time, I like to do it that way and then just not
Yeah.
have to think about it for a little while.
I
Yeah.
agree. It can save a lot of time because you get into this energy of speaking to camera too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're doing that 6 different times versus just doing it once, you can just be in the flow of
Yes.
creating all those videos. It can really make it
Yeah.
easier to stay consistent.
Yeah. And I use a teleprompter for YouTube because I don't want to be like, wandering with my thoughts, and you know what I mean? YouTube's pretty quick, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so do you use a teleprompter?
I do too, and I didn't for the first many years.
Uh-huh.
Up until this year, I was like,
Okay.
wow, how did I do this without a teleprompter
Oh
for
my
so
gosh.
long?
Yeah, I worry I would
Right.
just be like going off on tangents. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right. Then it's a whole skill set learning
It is.
how to speak with a teleprompter. Because I
Oh,
realized I just took over our YouTube a few months ago, a couple months ago. So I'm getting used to it again. And I
yeah.
realized when I watch myself back, like, wow, I'm a little bit robotic. And people have told me, yes, it's because you have to learn how to like be
Uh-huh.
natural while speaking and reading.
Yeah, and one thing I learned is somewhere in my years of taking courses and getting trained is it's that thing where they say you can, and I don't know if I should really even say this, but like the camera adds a little girth, we'll say,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or false. I don't pay attention to that. But kind of similarly, I've always heard that the camera, like, you almost have to be like 10 times more enthusiastic and more
Yeah.
like it can really make you look flat,
Yeah.
in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like personality. I don't, am
Mm-hmm.
I explaining that right?
Yes, you are.
Like even if it feels like you're kind of over the top animated, that's actually
Mm-hmm.
good when it comes to YouTube because what you just kind of come across, or you can, right? A
Mm-hmm.
little flat affect
Hmm. Yeah,
on
yeah. And using like hands can really help too.
uh-huh,
Like we're I can tell we're both kind of learning YouTube.
uh-huh, exactly.
Because here we are doing it, but it does help. It helps with engagement and so much. And even I had been on a learning curve still a little bit for using lighting. And I'm sure somebody in the audience might find this valuable to hear, but this kind of warm lighting is likely because I have this natural light coming in.
Yeah,
And you can do
careful.
that in an external light where it's a warmer orange type color, and it just makes your skin and everything look a lot better than the cooler lighting.
Hmm.
So if somebody's filming with just the normal lights in their room and they're like, why do I look not that great on video? It
Yeah,
really could just be the lighting and not you.
lighting's everything.
Everything.
It
Mm-hmm.
is. Yeah, I have a like a dome light.
Oh, yes.
So I don't know if it kind of doesn't look super warm, but it's not like glaring, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully it's a little softer, but definitely lighting is huge. But if you don't have the budget for nice lighting, you can
True.
always just position yourself in front of a window. So you want the light to be, you know, coming in front of you versus behind you or overhead, right? So,
True. And they say the most important is audio as well. So
oh
even if
God,
the video quality isn't great yet because you don't have the money to buy
yeah,
the equipment, start with audio.
agreed. Yeah, audio is huge. No one, people are not going to tolerate bad audio. It just,
Hmm.
yeah. So for sure. And you don't need like a super expensive mic or anything like that. In fact, I have a microphone. I don't know. I got it at Best Buy. I think it sounds okay. It was like $100. You
Yeah.
know, it's nothing
Yeah.
super high end, but it works. And you're using
Yeah.
AirPod. Are you using AirPods to hear
To
or
hear.
okay?
Yep,
And
to
you've got your
hear. And then I
microphone.
have this one, but you can get a simple lav like this too.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, for maybe $80 as
Yeah,
well, which
yeah.
does sound like a lot, but if you're putting in all the work to make videos on YouTube, it's
Yes,
really worth it.
I agree. Yep, I have one of those too, and it's really nice. It's a I think a helpful tool when you're ready. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Anything
and I'd
else
love
on
to see
YouTube?
well, I'd love to see more dietitians out there too making content. And I think in
Yeah.
our profession, there can be, I don't know if you feel that. Sometimes I feel this competitive nature in certain settings with our
Mhm,
profession.
mhm.
But the reality is, I know we can, as a profession, it seems like we can also get annoyed when people who aren't licensed speak about MNT. But
Yes.
from my standpoint, it's that we as a profession need to step up a bit too and show our communities how much we know, how much value we can add
Yeah.
in what we actually are as dietitians, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what we do. Like we're just basics, going to tell you to eat healthy. They don't realize like the depth of our knowledge. And so
Uh-huh.
getting more dietitians out there and on YouTube, these other platforms can only help because the reality is maybe on Instagram, it can get a bit more competitive. I'm not sure. I don't really know Instagram, but on YouTube, if you make good content, make good videos, there really is space for everybody. Because
I
so
agree.
billion, like so many people are on YouTube, using YouTube, watching it. It's growing because it's
Yeah.
a free platform.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, I agree just completely on that. There's room for everybody. And the one thing I do want to just kind of piggyback on that you said earlier, Ashley, is the fact that you get clients from YouTube.
Yes.
Like at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It helps you, it can be a really great platform to create, to help facilitate or support your sales funnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great opportunity. I've seen, I have a couple clients that have done really, really well on YouTube, and their YouTube channels are actually, you can tell because they're doing ads. So they've been able to monetize the channel itself, which I think is pretty
Right.
cool too, right?
Exactly. We got that as well, where
Oh, so
it's,
good.
I'd say the value really is in getting clients still, but over the lifetime of our channel, it's not a little bit of money, it's thousands of dollars. I think it's maybe even 4 or 5 thousand. I honestly I should look
Okay.
now because I can't remember,
I'm
but it
so
was
curious.
3,000 some in 1 year, just because
Okay.
once you get monetized, so you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time,
Okay.
1,000 subscribers, and
Okay.
then they'll submit you for monetization, and then
Okay.
you get a percentage of the ads that they run on your videos. And
Amazing.
some videos it can be a higher payment based upon the
Mhm.
topics, the people wanting
Okay.
to pay for ads. But I
Uh-huh.
think that means, and you can also block the type of ads that you want on your videos if you're like,
You
yeah, but
have
I don't
some
want them selling
control.
supplements in my videos, XYZ. But some of our videos have a very high amount of ad revenue, and I'm guessing it's because we're in gut health and there's a lot of companies wanting to run ads in niches that have audiences for the type of videos that we create.
Yes.
So it can be, we talk about diversifying our income streams because it really does help, especially as an insurance-based practice. Like I need to for our clinic for the health and stability. We can't just rely on insurance payments because that can change at any time.
Mm,
And
that is
even
so
a year or two ago, we had an issue with Aetna where they stopped paying for our clients. And it's like, I feel like it's a little bit of corruption. I mean, this might be a topic for a different conversation,
maybe
but there's these games that they play sometimes. So it took us about over a year for my biller to get us our contract back, even though we
oh
didn't do anything wrong.
my goodness.
I know. So it's just like goes
Crazy.
to show the importance of
Putting all your
diversifying our
eggs
income.
in these,
Yes.
one basket can be really a scary proposition because you
Yes.
yeah, so I think the message here is diversify your revenue streams, people.
Mm.
I'm a huge
Yes.
fan of that, and it sounds like you are too, Ashley. So I want to ask you, so you've definitely honed in on your video creation skill set and recording good video. What other skills would you say, looking back over the last 10 years, did you need to develop to bring you to where you are today?
It's a good question. There's a lot of them, and I've learned a lot on this journey of 10 years, especially in marketing. Business too, that seemed to come a little bit more naturally to me because I do have a process-oriented mind and a very organized mind. So it was easy for me to keep things simple. But that I think at this point in where the world is a really good message of simplicity. Keep your message really simple. Keep your processes simple. People are getting overwhelmed by the amount of information out there now, and the attentions are getting pulled in so many directions. And then also trusting my intuition. And this I value more than anything now when I'm navigating business. So, simplicity and trusting intuition. Because if you're building a foundation of your business, doing things that you don't really enjoy doing, you're actually building on rocky foundation.
Mm.
So, you want to think about what's the best fit for my personality, get to know yourself, get to know what you actually enjoy, and then create your business around that. So for me, I realized actually I don't love doing client care all day, every day because I'm actually a bit more of an introvert. So it becomes really exhausting for me.
Right.
But I enjoy doing a bit of client care and I really love doing the leadership roles. I love doing the process stuff. I love doing the big picture stuff. I love making the videos. So then, okay, this is the reality of my situation. Now I just need to create around this reality and trust my intuition.
Oh, that's really good. So really, you're saying hone in on what you enjoy and, where you
Yeah.
feel like you can really offer value.
Yeah, and sometimes at the start you have to do those things. I had to do the client care, and it was important for me to do it, and I had the energy for it.
Mhm.
But once you start to get those feelings of, maybe I need to pivot or adjust this or adapt this way, I think that's the most important. Listen to that, trust that, be okay changing, be okay with change. I mean, sometimes it can get a negative rap in our society, like, oh, but you said you were going to do it this way or like do that. But no, like the reality is life does change and that's okay. We have to just pivot. And I like the advice of the only way to fail is to give up. And sometimes certain parts give up. Like I gave up Instagram and Facebook for the business because I wasn't enjoying it. And that's okay. So you could say, well, I gave up on it, but I didn't give up on the big term vision and um outcomes that I wanted to create. And it's okay if somebody goes into private practice, realizes, well, I actually don't like this. I'd rather work for somebody. Great, as long as that's genuinely what you feel. But if you go in and it's just harder than you thought, but you really have a feeling that you want to do this, just
Yeah.
keep going. And it's that grit that's so important.
Okay. So how do you keep going when things are not going well? Any any ideas there?
Yeah,
Like
right.
you're experiencing, maybe you're questioning yourself, or maybe the revenue's just not matching or aligning with the amount of work you're doing, or your expenses, right? Like sometimes there's an imbalance where it's like money's going out the window, on, expenses for the business and you just can't seem to recoup. How do you keep
Yeah.
going? Any advice?
Yeah. Stepping back can be really helpful. Like
Okay.
just going into nature sometimes helps people. For me, I do
Yeah.
yoga and things of that sort, breath work, and just tune in to it's the intuition again and kind of what feelings you get for how to reorganize things. Take a step back and look at the big picture, see how you can reorganize. And it's not a failure if you need to get a job to keep going. That's not a failure. Maybe there's another clinic that would love your help because you're a great clinician. Because if your business isn't taking off, your practice isn't taking off, it doesn't mean you're not a great clinician. It just
Mhm.
means that people don't really know about you. But if you're getting clients and they're falling off, your attention's not so good, then like sure, look into maybe getting some advanced schooling because especially if you're cash pay, you will need to have more functional training or some sort of training that's of like higher value than what they can get under their covered insurance.
Mm,
Um,
that's a
but
great tip.
Right, right. So sometimes just taking time off, people will tell me that they took a trip, they traveled a little bit. You could even travel locally, and coming back just brings in fresh energy for them. They have like kind of a new excitement for their business.
I love that idea too. Okay, so as we start to kind of wrap up, what advice do you have for dietitians just getting started in private practice?
I would say if there's a area that you feel not confident in, like you don't have the knowledge for it, if you're able to, if you have the resources to do it, to hire a mentor, hire a consultant. I know Leslie, you do business consulting. Amy, I'm blanking on her last name, but she was so helpful for me for getting involved with the insurance companies and even just for the emotional supports of going through that process. I had hired a marketing coach at one time. I've taken courses and all this as well. It can be really helpful to have somebody that's done it that has more knowledge, and it saves a lot of time for getting going. So I'd
Okay.
say that's a great
Get
resource
support.
if people, yeah, get
Yeah.
support.
I mean, I know it's easy for me to say because this is what I do for a living, right?
Right.
But I did it myself. I was like, I don't want to
Yeah.
reinvent the wheel here. Give me the blueprint, right? To a degree, right?
Hmm.
Like help me. Um, I wanted someone to guide me with some of, I guess, the shortcuts. Not that there's like,
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it, but I want to learn from someone who's been there, who can teach me so I don't have to struggle.
Yes,
So
yes. The
I do think
knowledge
there's something to
and the
consider.
emotional support. The emotional
Yes,
support, I think, is just as important.
I
The
do too.
like, yep.
Yeah, and being able to hone in on, because I remember one of my very early clients. And she and I stay in touch. And actually, just a couple months or maybe a month ago, we had a conversation. And we always go back to the very beginning this is just one example of that emotional support. So, and this is probably true for a lot of us. It's very hard for some of us to close doors, right? It's scary. I think
Yeah,
it's really scary.
right.
So in this example I'm sharing, this particular brilliant dietitian, she had like all these little contracts here and there, but it wasn't really feeding her soul anymore. But it was really, really scary for her to end those or, to
Yeah,
delegate those to somebody else. But so we
right.
always reflect. Remember back in the day when, you were doing X, Y, and Z, and it was so scary for you
Yes.
to like make that pivot. Oh my God, if you could see where she is now, it's insane. Let me just say,
Yes, 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 yes. That happened to
insane.
me as well. My mentor at the time did the same thing with me, and I needed it because it was
Uh-huh.
incredibly scary. But I was still doing some per diem work at the hospital during COVID. And she's like, well, you kind of have to choose because I was getting so burnt out. I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
know, I do. I have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I look at it as a positive. Closing a door opens new doors. I really do believe that, even if it seems scary in the moment, right?
Right, right. And it's
So,
so valuable to have then that support of somebody
yes.
who on
Someone on the outside that can see what's
the outside.
happening, right? Because
Hmm.
sometimes we just can't.
Hmm.
I always have coaches and, people who can see things that maybe I can't see for myself, right?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
so helpful. Like I was sharing with you, I went on a retreat. I just got back last night, and it's just really cool how, with sharing and everything, people, they can see things that sometimes we have blinders to in our own business and in our own lives, right?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. And it makes the journey just so much more enjoyable. When I started my clinic, I didn't really have
mm,
friends in entrepreneurship and business. And it was incredibly stressful when I
uh-huh,
started. But now
mhm,
that is probably the best thing to
yes,
get if probably the best advice, right? Like create a community of people that have done this, are doing it,
yes.
mentors, however you need to be connected to them. It helps so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and get support. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. And the thing is, I know I'm on a little bit of a, soapbox, right? But it's the same as our clients. Like,
Oh, that's true.
okay, right? So we have this notion that we should be able to figure it out. Okay. And the truth is that, yeah, that might be true to a degree. But the other thing is, it's not always just about knowledge. Like in the work that I do,
Yeah.
you can go watch a gazillion podcasts, free webinars. At the end of the day, doesn't really help you. I don't know. I would venture to say sometimes, yes, you can grasp some, really great strategies, but and it's just like the nutrition clients. There's
Yeah.
no shortage of information. No shortage. It's the doing, right? It's the
Yeah.
helping, the troubleshooting. It's helping, stay on track. All the things that we do. So it's
Right.
very similar to, the work that I do. Like, yeah, you know, I should hypothetically be able to like figure it out. But the question is, are you? And if you're
Right.
struggling or if you just don't feel sure, I would just say get support. I mean, I do this for a living. There's lots of other great people, I'm sure, that can help you. Just, the it's just doesn't seem worth the struggle to me
Yeah.
to just try to continually like beat yourself up and say, I should be able to figure it out. Right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but that is how your clients feel too. Like, oh, I should be able to do this. Do you get that
Right.
in the
Yeah.
work that you do?
Absolutely. And that's the whole concept of motivational interviewing coaching too,
Mhm.
realizing that sometimes just somebody asking us questions, us chatting it out, kind of coming to our own conclusion sometime with some added insight from their outsider's perspective is just it's it's so valuable.
Yeah, I would agree. All right. Any final words of wisdom? I could talk to you all day,
I
Ashley.
know,
I
me
want to respect your
too.
time. Anything you'd like to add?
I think just those three things, trusting
Okay.
intuition, simplicity, and then the support.
Great. Okay. One more question. Where can we send our audience if they want to learn more about you and your work?
Yes, our website is oswalddigestiveclinic.com, and
Okay.
you can see at the footer of our website, you can go to our YouTube channel. There's some resource things there. And
Okay.
we do have other dietitians that refer to us because we specialize in
Nice.
gut health.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah, if anybody has difficult clients, I mean, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, and UHC, we
Okay.
can take. So, we'd be happy to help with those clients.
Excellent. I love that. All right. Well, thank you so very much,
Thank
Ashley. I
you,
really
Leslie.
appreciate the opportunity to reconnect with you and, really your willingness to share your wisdom with our audience, especially 10 years, 10 plus years of private practice. So you have so much to offer and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I
And thank you to
appreciate you.
everyone Thanks. Really great to see you again. And thank you to everyone who joined our conversation today. And I will look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye for now.
All right, bye everybody.